What? Bang!
Whoa! Wrestling podcast. Just when they think they got the answers, I change the question.
Rep screwed rep.
Yeah.
Woo!
Who are you to doubt El Dandy? Because this guy's a serious professional.
Did he do it? Unbelievable.
Too hot to handle and too cold to hold. And I am Macho King Savage.
Shut your mouth, you thong-wearing fatty. I said WWE stands for. It's me, Austin. I will never retire.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Hey, yo, Fro Wrestling Podcast listeners, welcome to the show where we don't sing it, we bring it. Help us out and click subscribe to show your support. Hey, look, are you sick and tired of dropping $60 to $100 for the latest and greatest wrestling game? You gotta stop, man. Put some money back in your pocket. Go to app.wrestlerunstoppable.com where you get to play the entire game totally free. Create a wrestler, sign contracts, get into storylines, headline PLEs, even build your own corporation from the ground up, all included in Wrestler Unstoppable, available now to all Facebook users totally free. If you want to become a member of the Pro Wrestling Podcast family, want your name in the shoutouts like John in Texas and Emily, then you gotta pop over to our Patreon page at patreon.com/Pro Wrestling Podcast. Sign up today and we will get to your questions, comments, anything you want to talk to. Send us a message through Patreon, or if you would like to go the traditional route, we've got the Fro Wrestling Sound Off line, 267-642-1160, and we can get to your questions or comments in that format as well. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of the Fro Wrestling Podcast. Look, we're going to jump right into it tonight. We've got a lot going on, and Saturday night's main event is getting ready to kick off. And before that gets going, we want to address the news and rumors of the day. First off, Adam Copeland, formerly known as Edge in WWE, was doing an interview with Clutch Points where he hit on some major talking points. One of those that kind of surprised me a little bit was the fact that he seems like it was such a no-brainer to go to to leave WWE and go to AEW. He made reference to the point that when he left WWE, he felt like he had done everything he could. His three best friends in the industry worked at AEW. He said that they all said they were having a blast, and he said, sign me up. It was a no-brainer. On top of that, he felt like he was really interested in the AEW roster. Specifically, he felt like he had kind of done everything he could do in WWE. He had already worked with pretty much everybody who had been there. And with AEW, he'd have a chance to step in the ring with people like Kenny Omega, MJF, other talent that he had never had that chance to do. Keeping in mind, we're heading into tomorrow night at Double or Nothing, where he and Christian Cage, formerly just Christian, the two of them, Edge and Christian in WWE, are going to be reuniting to take on FTR for the World Tag Team Championship in an I Quit match with careers on the line. He actually made reference. He said, if you said 10 years ago that we're going to get Christian and Copeland together as a tag team, and they're going to face FTR and AEW in an I Quit match where the careers are on the line for the tag team titles, you go, well, that sounds awesome, but that's clearly not going to happen because two of those dudes are retired, Copeland explained. He said, yet here we are. It's all gravy. So he's got to be very, very thankful he's had the opportunity to come back and do all these things this late in his career after having to, be forcibly retiring earlier in his career and all that. It's great to see him get this opportunity with AEW, some fresh matches, fresh opponents, getting to do some more with Christian. They had separated for quite a long time. I was always frustrated when Christian came back at the Royal Rumble the one year during the COVID pandemic, and he got that shock return in the Royal Rumble, and he obviously could still go, and WWE did nothing with it. And then he shows up in AEW, kills it there, does a great job there, does a great job in TNA, again, wins the TNA World Heavyweight Championship when they had their brief partnership with AEW. And now, if you think about it, they've done quite a bit since being in AEW, despite having some pretty significant times off. That being said, Adam Copeland spoke also on that interview that he is not even sure what his contract status is in AEW. Again, he was doing the interview with Clutch Points, and they spoke about his contract. And the quote from them is, I'm not even sure when it's up, he said. When he signed in 2023, his contract was reported to be for multiple years. And then they go on to state that this time it'll be my choice, and that makes it a different experience entirely. He said before explaining he didn't want a big, tearful send-off like the last time he was forced to retire. One of the things he did mention is that based on the fact that he did have some injury time off and he left to record 2 movies, Percy Jackson was one of them. There was another film off the top of my head I'm not remembering the name of. That when he was off filming, that it made it so that there was time added to his contract. So he's not even sure when his contract is up, but whenever it's up, it'll be up to him to decide when he wants to walk away, leave on his own terms, and do everything that he wants to do in the world of professional wrestling before doing that. On the same topic, the AEW side of things, Mick Foley making his big debut tomorrow night for AEW, and seeing the conversation on Wrestling Observer Radio related to Mick Foley's appearance, and Dave Meltzer speculating as to whether or not Mick Foley's ever going to wrestle in AEW. And I know there's a lot of people give Dave Meltzer a hard time here, but I think he says it perfectly. His quote is, he says, I don't know exactly the full role. MJF has always wanted to work with him. I don't know that he can do a match. He may try. He would love to. I just don't know if it's possible. I mean, for MJF working an angle with Mick Foley, the angle itself with the promos, it could be incredible. As far as can he do a match, I don't know. I mean, I know when he was training for a comeback like a year ago, I just heard that he was getting hurt pretty bad doing very minor things, so it didn't seem like a good idea. There was an interview in April where MJF, was very open and honest about the fact that he had reached out to Tony Khan and asked if he could work a program with Mick Foley back in 2025. And it was obviously something that they were interested in, and Foley was doing everything he could to get himself ready and in shape to be able to make that match happen. But after going to the doctor and having some tests run and things of that nature, and again, like they said in the report, very basic wrestling holds and maneuvers, he was getting injured, having difficulty. So that's why they kind of put the kibosh on it there. His last match as of right now was a Royal Rumble appearance in 2012. And his last actual singles match, oddly, they put this one into your trivia book, was against Ric Flair in TNA in 2010. So it's been a hot minute. You're talking about a 16-year lapse since a full one-on-one match for Mick Foley. But, if he wanted to make a go of it, I completely understand that, and I don't think I would fault him for that. So many wrestlers get so many chances to come back. It would be nice to see him get one last go-around, and if anybody could pull a good match out of him, it would be MJF. Switching gears just a little bit to WWE, there has been a conversation this week about the WWE ID, the independent development contracts that are out there, and that BodySlam.net revealing this week that there is a shift in the ideology about ID talent. That in the past, ID talent, they basically would make a name for themselves on the independent scene, and whenever they were called up to NXT or Evolve or something like that, WWE would provide them with a new WWE copyrightable name. Well, that is no longer the case. According to the report, the name and its any established identity that I guess you would consider them former independent wrestlers come into WWE with is no longer allowed to be used after signing their ID contracts. In the past, you could be anybody you want, before signing that contract, and then once you sign that contract, you stayed whoever you were right up until they called you up, but now that apparently is not the case. So now WWE is, we always talked about it before, they always change people's names because they want to own all the intellectual property, and it's kind of stuck up of them to go that route, but it is what it is. A lot of businesses do this kind of thing. People like to hang on to intellectual property. It's odd for people like Chris Jericho and people like that to go out there and always be able to use their name, AJ Styles, stuff like that, because they copyright their name, and a lot of companies don't want to let people do that. But this is a situation where WWE is clearly looking to put the headlock on the naming and make all that copyright information their own, and we'll have to see how that plays out over time. But I just hope they don't lose sight of what's really important, which is cultivating that next generation of incredible wrestling talent, because the ID program really has the opportunity to do that. And then one last thing we're going to get to tonight, real in brief, because I don't want to go into a deep dive here. Smackdown last night, solid show. There was a segment from Rhea Ripley with Charlotte and Alexa Bliss, obviously furthering that feud. What is confusing for me is they're feuding really with two different groups. The whole, Michin, B-Fab, and Jade Cargill faction obviously is one issue. Fatal Influence and JC Jane is another issue. I don't foresee a triple threat coming at any point, and I know this is a way that they were able to further the storyline between Cargill and Rhea to get a rematch at Clash in Italy. I understand that, but I just wish if that's the case, they would have held up on the Fatal Influence stuff, because I don't want to push them to the ground, because they're doing some great work. I love some of the backstage stuff with Solo Sikoa and Royce Keys. I guess it gives him something to do with an established star. The Tala Tonga Shinsuke Nakamura match. I don't have a problem with the match. I'm just kind of tired of seeing Shinsuke Nakamura not win matches. He's an incredible talent. He went any other company in the world, he'd be a top flight candidate to be the main event world champion. And in WWE, ever since he won the Royal Rumble, they've just dropped the ball with him completely. I understand he's had some U.S. championship wins here and there, Intercontinental championship wins, and those things are nice. I'm not taking anything away from those reigns, even though I think the U.S. championship one was a joke. What I'm frustrated with is this is a guy who can go even at an advanced age, and they just don't seem to do anything of substance with him. Tala Tonga ends up winning the match. It is what it is. There's a beatdown afterwards leading to a Samoan spike attempt where we have Damian Priest run out to set up more later on in the show. We see the backstage segment with Cody Rhodes and Sami Zayn. Obviously, that's leading to a program, which what I don't like here is it's obvious Sami Zayn's a heel. It's obvious he and Cody have history. It's even more obvious they're going to lead to a match with he and Cody, but you already have this going on with Gunther. Now, if the Gunther thing is going to lead to a Brock Lesnar match at SummerSlam, okay, I can live with that. But then you're talking about Sami Zayn going after Cody. I'm actually okay with that too, but if that's what you're going to do, I would not have done the Gunther thing now, because now the Gunther program is being rushed, and I don't like that. The Women's Open Challenge for the United States Championship, Tiffany Stratton defending against Lash Legend. Solid match again. What I absolutely love is Chelsea Green getting involved. And here is why. I know a lot of people are like, she doesn't belong there. It's kind of hokey. If you ever want to see Chelsea Green put in a main event position and putting her out there and having her pair off with Tiffany Stratton, is exactly what you should want to do. I almost said Trish Stratus there because they're so similar, at least in my brain. I actually love that. This may be the way they get Chelsea Green over the hump and make her a legitimate top-tier world championship contender. And I think she's earned that. I really, really do. I know all the controversy came out over the way Road Dogg felt about her versus the way Michael Hayes felt about her back in the day. I think she deserves that opportunity. Get the championship at least once and give her a decent run. It doesn't have to be a year-long run, but a few 3, 4, 5 month run with the championship would be great. But right now, I'm not sure if we're going to see that. They do more silly stuff with Danhausen, which is fine. If you didn't see this week in the news, he's the number 2 merchandise seller in the whole company, so I expect them to do stuff with him. But then they rush the Trick Williams-Carmelo Hayes situation. You purposely steered away from that earlier pre-WrestleMania, hoping to save that for later on. Then you finally go back to it, and it's this it's really like a squash match because of Ricky Saints getting involved. And I hate this, because now you got to create a storyline to get back to it later if you're going to do it. And if you don't, you drop the ball completely. Absolutely terrible idea. I did not like this at all. It's one of the few things I really, really disliked in the whole show. The Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair, Fallon Henley, Laney Reed thing, I guess that was okay. The match was solid. All the outside interference, again, going back to what we said earlier with all these ladies being involved in trios factions, it really takes away from some of it when you know darn well 2 of those trios are not going to go at it. We get the Solo Sikoa Damian Priest match. Solid match, but I really thought that Damian Priest would pick up the win with Solo winning. It's obvious they're going to lead towards a tag team championship situation, which I'm not a big fan of because we've done that to death. I'd really like to see a move on. We get to see Blake Monroe and Chelsea Green in the back. I think that's one of the highlights of the week because everybody's been waiting and wondering, when are we going to see Blake Monroe? Report came out earlier in the day yesterday that she was at the arena, and we knew she'd be doing something. I really wish they would have found something even more substantial for them to do, but we'll have to wait and see. And then we get to the main event of the night. Earlier in the evening, Cody demanding a match with Zayn after Zayn was mad that he couldn't get on the show. Match is fine, to be perfectly honest with you. I didn't expect it to do too much because you got to save a lot of that for a future pay-per-view. At this point, when Cody wins the match, Gunther's interfering, Cody wins the match, And afterwards, Gunther locks him in the chokehold and Sammy just walks away. I love all of this if we were 5 months into the Gunther program, but we're not. So we're going to rush Gunther so we can get to Sammy. And I hope Sammy wins the championship at SummerSlam. I really, 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 really do. I know a lot of people wanted to wait for WrestleMania. I don't care to wait that long. Give it to him at SummerSlam. That way Mania could be a much bigger match for the world title. But I think that's what they're heading for. This Gunther program confuses me if that's the direction we're going, when we could have done so many other things. But if that is indeed where they're headed, I actually like it quite a bit. That's all the time we have for this episode. Check back with us next episode. We run down the latest wrestling news and rumors. Special thanks as always to Suno for creating the music and sound effects I use in my show. Special thanks as always to Beezle Games bringing us the game Sketchy People. If you want to pick up your copy, you got to go to thegamecrafter.com. Snag a copy today. Bring a new friend to family game night. It's easy. It's a cool game, artistically inclined, a lot like Pictionary / categories kind of thing. Got to check it out. Go ahead, grab a copy of that at thegamecrafter.com. If you are looking for your next career move, you're considering college, university life, maybe you just need some formal training for your next career decision, go to our website at frolifeplanning.com for all your higher education needs, as Fro Life educational planning is for today, for tomorrow, and for life with Fro Life. I'm Fred Froelich, better known as Dr. Fro. I want to thank you for taking some time on this night. Until next time, take care, everybody. Have a great one.
Crossing the